How to start building your client portfolio while working full-time or having other types of distractions. Hi, this is Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. A lot of subscribers I work with today have either a full-time job or some kind of full-time operation that's already ongoing. So for example, they might have a marketing agency that's already doing email marketing, and they're expanding into actually copywriting. So rather than just the administrative support of loading emails into Aweber or Infusionsoft or whatever the platform is, they're expanding to actually writing the emails. But the full-time activity of loading emails and doing the technical administration is taking up their whole day. They don't have enough margin in it because the market is flooded, and they want to start adding this additional service, but they don't quite have the copywriters to hire. So the owner is actually writing the copy as well. And this happens in other ways. Sometimes it's a full-time job. Somebody's working full-time as a chemist, for example, and they've been writing marketing copy and business development copy internal to their organization, helping with campaigns, and they want to start writing technical copy and sales copy as a freelance activity, but they just don't have the time of the day. How do we solve that? Well, first off, we need to leverage media to get your new clients. So you can do this in a number of ways. You can position yourself in the marketplace by start developing an email newsletter or a print newsletter that goes out to a select targeted list of individuals who can hire you either for your existing service or for the new service that you're launching. And you just get this out in front of them in such a way that positions you, establishes credibility, demonstrates your authority in the marketplace. I've done this in the past by writing reports. I've written books. I've written special reports that go out to a list. I will literally get a list of 100 people who can buy what I have to offer. Now, this is very important. They have to be able to buy what you can offer, and I will send them a letter. And at the end of the letter, I'll say, hey, for more information on this topic, I have a special report that I'd like to send to you for free. Simply, here's how to request it. Send me an email. Call my office. I will send this report. I'll basically mail it to them, U.S. priority mail if they're in the United States. Sometimes I'll actually have it printed remotely. I try not to send them the PDF because a lot of times, and you've done it before, you get the PDF and you never read the damn thing. So I do try to send them some kind of print report. But I'll pay for to send it. It costs me maybe $8. I'll send it out to them. I'll include a booklet of testimonials. So I'll have the special report. I'll have a cover letter. I'll have a booklet of testimonials. I'll have a couple case studies related to the special report. All this is literally shoved into an envelope and then mailed to them immediately. And then I may send some things over email as follow-up. So there have been times where maybe it's set up in an autoresponder and people will opt in. They'll get the PDF report right away. I'll go research the individual and see if they're worth sending the whole kit to. If they're worth it, I'll send them the whole kit. Now, here's what's valuable about that. I've even sent a handwritten special report, maybe 15-page special report that was literally the draft based on a few conversations and an order form with it, and gotten enough sales that it was worth doing. So I spend $8. Maybe I spend $300 or $400, depending on the number of responses. I send these kits out. I'm in the hole $300 or $400. I'll get back maybe twice that in net. Okay. Now you can't do that all day long. And so you might still need that regular line of business, or you may still need that full-time job before you can launch, because it is not going to produce on the first interaction a windfall. And that's the challenge. See, a lot of folks tell me, look, I got this sideline thing going and I'm really concerned it's going to get too big and it's going to distract from our main business. And yeah, it could, but if you build into your price, and see, this is where I'm a little bit different than a lot of the gurus that tell you how to sell more, or tell you how to get more marketing clients, or tell you how to become an agency, or tell you how to get this empire built. I want you to step back into the fundamental finances of the organization to determine whether you're charging enough. Wouldn't it be better to have 4 or 5 clients that you're charging enough to make your income goals rather than having to juggle a portfolio of 30, 40, 50 clients? If you've got a bunch of clients that are tiny and they don't have a lot of net revenue, the cash flow's poor, they're hit and miss. It takes a lot to get them in the door. And then when you're working with them, you don't really go out and find other customers at the same time. Then you're ready to start using, again, media as leverage, email newsletter, print newsletter, lead generation campaigns, little 4-step series. Somebody opts into a page, you send them 4 emails that are maybe a day apart or a week apart. And then and each of those emails then gets them to raise their hand for a print version of the same report that they're receiving in a drip series. And then that kit would have, in the Glazer Kennedy type of world or the no BS type of world, that's called a shock and awe box. But it could just be as simple as what Bob Bly sells, and is a literal special report that teaches something. And then at the end of the report says, oh, by the way, if you'd like help implementing this, then raise your hand and here's what we can do. And when you do this, you start building up a series of assets. Now, I'm notorious for getting into a platform and then breaking the platform. So I was in Infusionsoft for like 5 or 6 years. The volume wasn't quite there because from a letter in the mail, I could get a new assignment, and the website, it was having problems, and all these little pieces broke, and I eventually just shut down Infusionsoft. Then I went to Aweber, and then I was at ClickFunnels. All this technical transaction is also one of those distractions. So the second piece of advice I have here is that you need to start delegating out some of this stuff and stop tweaking things. Okay. If you've got a core income line from your business or core line of business, then you focus on that core line of business. You start to optimize it, start to organize it to increase your margins, and then take some of those margins and reinvest it into the next line of business. If you can't set up that next line of business yet, then you want to have joint venture and referral relationships so that you can start sending your customers where they need to go to help them get the solutions that they need while you get a small chunk of it at a lower overhead. And then you can also set up information and basically sell them the instructions on how to do it if you don't have the labor hours available to do it for them. Now, there are times where I will present a program and I'll record it. And at the end of the program, I'll say for $98,000, we can get started today. And here's how we do it. You invest in a paid consultation. I'm going to expect a check for $5,000. Then what we're going to do is schedule a day. We're going to walk through this and this and this and this. And by the way, here's why you do step number 1. Here's why you do step number 2. Here's why you do step number 3. After all that, if you like the plan that I've put together for you, then the program starts at $98,000. Now, if your opportunity doesn't net $98,000, then here's what we need to look at. You need to look at this step here. Are you generating enough revenue? How many customers would it take? And I just go through all these steps, but I'm pitching a $98,000 program that maybe 1 or 2 people might buy in my lifetime. However, again, it's positioning. It's the price that I would need to receive to deliver the services that I'm promising. And it's the steps that I would take in order for a client to get the results that they're looking for. Now, someone listening to that program might be a rank beginner, and they might listen to the steps and have no idea how to get started. They might have a lot of experience, and they might listen to the steps and know exactly what to do next. Either way, I'm solving the problem for the listener in a way that, again, the media is recorded, the steps are outlined, the reason why is there, the mistakes to avoid are there. So I'm delivering value in my content while setting up the opportunity. If a check shows up for $5,000, I've got an outline of what I'm going to deliver for the $5,000. And then I just ask them a question. If you'd like my help to implement this, or you'd want additional support, here's where we start. I'll credit the $5,000 towards the $98,000. If you'd like me to send you an invoice today, we can get started. And then again, I might do 10 of those presentations. And the whole time while I'm doing these presentations, I'm refining the original presentation. I'm adding materials to it. Some people ask, well, how do you end up with 114 pages on how to write articles? Well, that's because it started out as 5 pages, And then as I got feedback from the people who read that report, and as I did paid consultations, as I did some other project work, I simply just add it to the outline. Now I got 140 some pages, and then I got forms and templates and flowcharts and recordings of conversations with people. I could package all that together and sell it as a kit. The original intention wasn't to create the kit. The original intention was to, in the course of marketing, establish myself as a credible expert in the area, to demonstrate to potential customers, to get paid a consultation fee, and then provide extra value by giving them a copy of a report I had already produced in the past. So I literally have a paid consultation, and then I go revise the report to reflect the conversation and the specific needs of this individual. Sometimes it's just highlighting pages or calling out, hey, look, I know we talked about X, Y, and Z. You're going to look on page such and such for X. You're going to look on page such and such for Z. You're going to whatever here. And if you got any questions, just write in my office. And can you see how this works? You are building the business in the course of serving your customers. So you're building these artifacts, and then you're syndicating the artifacts by putting them in front of qualified prospects. Now, I know a lot of you folks are saying, well, that's why I'm doing my blog posts. Well, your blog posts are just throwing it out there. You're just kind of throwing the seeds in the wind to see what happens. No, I want you to cultivate the soil by understanding a particular specific target audience. I want you to understand the seed that you're planting so that you plant it in the right season and you plant it in such a way that it has maximum growth. I want you to know about how to prune your list so you can go in there and clean your list up and focus your efforts. Because again, if you're mailing and it's costing you $2 a month per name to mail, and you're mailing 100, and it's $200 a month to reach out and mail these people, and you've been mailing for 10 months, that's $2,000. You need to be producing at least $2,000 in net revenue in order to make that effort worthwhile. And by the way, a $79 a year paid newsletter has the metrics as long as you have a good back end. A lot of the people I work with, they may have $1,000, they may have $2,000 net because they've got other activities generating income. They already have a retirement income. They already have a pension income. They already have a consulting program income. So maybe they've been doing straight consulting and now they want to start doing some done-for-you services. Well, they already got that core income. So what a lot of folks worry about, hey, I don't – the extra work I'm doing is cutting into the main work I'm doing is actually a benefit because again, you can adjust your numbers. If you've already got $110,000 a year coming in and your goal is $250,000 and you're just completely out of time, well, you can increase your rates. And there'll be a point where increasing the rates moves you closer to your goal. And it may cause you to move closer to the goal with fewer customers, and therefore you'll then have more time available to do other things. If you have points of leverage, such as joint ventures and partnerships, I have a program about subjugating your competitors, literally subcontracting in your competitors to the point where you're just running this marketing machine, and then you will help with the project design or the project setup, statement of work, things like that. And then you might do project management, but then you end up with a portfolio of projects that are ran by subcontractors, freelance copywriters, other types of people that will come in, and now you've suddenly got an agency. But the point I'm making, though, is that we have to go back to the basics. Are you charging enough to make the revenue necessary to hit your goals? How many customers will it take to reach your goals? Do you have a process in place for managing your time and attention? Are you, haphazardly plugging together a whole bunch of different pieces of software and constantly dealing with technical issues? You can hire a webmaster, you can hire a sysadmin to take care of the technical issues, but what can you do to simplify the system so you can focus even better? So for example, your prospecting database could be separate from your customer database, and that just makes it easier to extract and mail. You can extract your whole prospect database and mail it. You can segment your prospect database and mail it. And then as soon as they raise their hand to become a customer and they have a transaction, they then go to your accounting system. And then if you want to mail your buyers, you just dump it from your accounting system and then mail them. And if they buy again, you put them back in the accounting system. You can keep it that simple. It is nice to have the automation, but it's even nicer to earn the profits and serve the customers. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. If you've already got something going on and you're concerned about the challenges of growing a business, write in with your questions. Again, we talk about the power of words that sell, but we also talk about the strategies and the systems necessary in order to have customers to do this service for, or to help with your knowledge and wisdom about business development, marketing, or sales. And you can visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. I'm having some people revamp a lot of things on the site. We're going to start offering courses because, like I mentioned, I have these reports and programs and articles and emails and conversations that I can simply edit up. And now that I'm getting a little bit along in my business goals, I am getting much more leisure time. I can actually package these things up, and you can go and take the course. And when you take the course, you can get the insights, and then we can sit down and focus on the conversation to apply those insights specifically to you. You can do the same type of thing starting where you are. You don't have to have a full course. You don't have to have a whole book. You don't have to have a whole special report. Again, you can start with where you're at, but the key is extracting from the work you're already doing artifacts and tools that you can then put in front of new prospects, and then a monetary system in place on the business side so that you make enough money to actually have reserve funds, build in the costs of your staff so that you can actually then start staffing out. Personal assistant, bookkeeper, CPA, those types of places are the first place to start. Later, you can then start subbing in on a project-by-project basis, solutions providers. I could go on about this for days, and in fact, I've written programs on this, and I've helped clients in the past. This kind of focus is what creates and keeps profitable customers and transform business relationships into profits. You can do that with words that sell. You can leverage the media using words that sell. You're in the right place. Visit www.adbriefings.co.uk with all of your questions. Thanks for listening.